Swami Vishnu-devananda teaches anatomy to the TTC. That's it.
Exercise can help and for its benefits, how we can avoid the body, the muscles. Our body is something like one over another. It's a foot somewhere down together, the hip, the small piled one over another, and eventually a big skull is put on the top. And all these pieces of bones are held together in place by ligaments, muscles, and connective tissues. So today's study will be called mobilization of joints. Mobilization of joints. As all the asanas are in some way is to keep the joints flexible and elastic, by which you are able to increase circulation and also bring a complete and thorough tone of your ligaments and the muscles. First, we will go to the chapter on the complete illustrated book of yoga on mobilization of the joint, page 53, comes from chapter 4, in the middle of the chapter. First, have a hasty glance, then we will discuss the whole thing thoroughly by going through the charts and demonstration. If we study such animals as dogs and cats, we notice they often stretch and contract their spines after awakening. Infants move their spines naturally in a variety of positions. Flexibility of the spine is lost as the body grows. The first indication of ossification of the bones is noted in the 8th week of intrauterine life. Long after birth, the final stage in the replacement of cartilage by bones occurs. Bone continues to grow in circumference by the deposition of new bone in the deeper layers of the periosteum on the external surface. The cessation of growth of bone occurs at about 18 years of age in girls and soon after 20 in boys. In addition to supporting the framework, the skeleton provides places of attachment for muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Above the pelvis are piled 24 vertebrae. You can look into this, you see 24 vertebrae piled up. The 5, first the basic one, the lumbar, 12 thoracic, 7 cervical, and the bottom one. And each one is piled one over another. The framework of the body not only stands, but bends, sways, and twists. In all yogi postures, this bending, twisting are specially all the yogi are specially designed to get the maximum bending, swaying, and twisting of the body along with its ligaments and muscles. The movements are restricted for most biologists to short. Average individual can no longer touch the finger, knee, or left. Here, another chart will clearly let unable to touch the toe because ligaments and muscles very tight. Calf muscles, hamstring, lumbar is all one continuum. And whenever they are shortening, it affects the entire man. Are known as leg spinning can be through your exercise is pliable as a child even at 8. In man known as bands connecting 2 or more or the ways. If not, improper postures will come. Exaggerated lumbar curvature, protruding posture. So, if these ligaments are not properly and elastic, they can cause discomfort, pain, and trouble. It's essential that we examine the nature, function, mobility of the spine and ligaments that play a prominent role in yogi postures. As we old, its backbone stiffens because the ligaments become tighter. It must be remembered here, the ligament structure are continuous and mobility is restricted in any area, the entire attachment is affected. This brings general immobility of the body. To find more clearly, here is a person is touching the toe. Do you manage the toe? Hitting. No. And in this posture are not right. Got a stiffened lumbar muscle, but is that over exaggerated upper touch. In this, are strung only at the calf because of the little short ligaments on this arm. The entire structure is shut off, though rest of the muscles. So if there is one area, if there is shortening, it affects your entire system. We'll come back again in more explanation on fine. While either sitting, standing, or walking, pain in the neck goes down to the bring headache and scalp sensitivity. The pressure of the ligaments of the at the base of the ear irritate. This by shortening base attack with some degree the nerve branches, the points of shortening extremities, pains of the head, shoulders, arms can be relieved by such position stand, such as the ligament-free and easy movement of the head and neck, thus leaving the nerves. The last effect is permanent the ligament, correct head and sorry. The first posture, very close. The facial ligaments first indispensable daily motions of walking exercises followed by period of inactivity. This tendency of shortening can be seen in athletes, sportsmen, and dancers. Period of severe training and long heads lost elasticity. Yogi gives great attention to the vertebral column and ligaments, the pillar of the support of the cranium, which also protect the sword and the roots of the spinal nerve emanating the vertebra. For definite curves are noticeable in the vertebral column. 4 definite curves are noticeable in the vertebral column, namely cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and pelvic column. It's very important to know this curvature. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and pelvic. The spine is like an S shape. The primary curves present at birth are 2, thoracic and sacral. The cervical curve develops as the child begins to hold up his head in the 3 and 9 months. The child begins to walk, the lumbar curve appears, that is the lower 5 lumbar vertebra. All 4 curves lend resilience and spring to the vertebral column, which are essential for walking and jumping. Improper positions may exaggerate the curves of the vertebral column. An increase in thoracic curve is called kyphosis, and the lumbar curve lordosis. A lateral curvature of the spine is called scoliosis. Owing to tuberculosis of the vertebra, erosion of the body of the vertebra may take place, resulting in abnormal curvature. And you can see a curvature or a fat piece of bone. All the bones are fused together. Yogic exercises are mainly designed to keep the proper culture of the spine, proper curvature of the spine, and to increase its flexibility by stretching the anterior and posterior longitudinal ligaments. The posterior longitudinal ligaments extend from the epistrophes of the sacrum. It goes from all the way from here, the ligaments going back. All the disc and edges of the bodies of the vertebra are attached by the ligaments. A 15-year-old easily can touch his toe with the fingertip while keeping the knee straight in this position. This flexibility of the spine lessens at 30 and continues to decline at 40 until at 60 and over. Any bending may be difficult and painful, as you can see in this condition or in this condition here. In fact, stiffened ligaments will not stretch at all, and the body is held at the base of the skull throughout the spine, pelvis, and knees by ligaments that have lost their elasticity. All the ligaments have lost elasticity, so it stays like a long piece of bone. A yogic practitioner, even at the advanced age, maintains flexible ligaments and spine. Some of the difficult yogic exercises which you are now going to learn and see are actually due to the limbering condition of your body, especially on your muscles and ligaments. Now we'll come step by step how these muscle ligaments can help you. First of all, we take the joints. Due to improper eating, improper living, there is already certain amount of deposits on various joints and tissues. And when these deposits accumulates from the footstep, we take and ear accumulation continues, and eventually it reaches a stage what you call a stiff joint due to deposits of red kind of signal. The master of the house of the body to take proper measure so that we can correct whatever the problems involved, like in any other mechanical gadgets. But suppressing the pain, as we do often, is against yoga, because that is not the purpose of pain, to suppress it, to find the problem. So you have to go to the cause of it. So you saw how the erosion take place, and remember, whenever you again good and painful condition, once more I show the picture. Put it in your mind and see what happens to you when you continuously live in a wrong. Again, look at that picture. It took so many years to create the structure, and this happens not only in the hands, it happens in knee joints, all your whole, wherever there are joints, wherever there are bones, the same thing can happen, and we can avoid that.
Once fusion takes place through yogic practices, can you then limber it up?
That is by the time already in the dead bed. There is nothing much you can do, but at least you can further avoid the further erosion by taking some simple postures, eating right food. If it is in the earlier stage, there is some help, but it's complete. See, bend your fingers as. See, I'm a born vegetarian. It's fine. So chicken, and very little bit, mostly carbohydrate, rice, meat, and now you take out of even 7 or 8-year-old child, and you see their fingers are stiff. See, okay, somebody come here. Parvati, come here. Your hand. Take your. Look at the fingertip. The finger. What do you see? See the finger joints. Older than it was. Now look at the difference in the joints. My finger. Friend, when I bend, what happens? Down, is it not? You bend my. See them? I bend the entire. Look at that. It doesn't bend at all. So at this early age, the arthritis, but you have the pain doesn't. You don't have the arthritis. Why the pain? Because you haven't reached the stage of saturation. That is all. Now you have water, and I just what happens to the water? Salt. Dissolve. And go little. Dissolve. That you can salt in it, but that doesn't mean there is salt. So you add, and when it reaches saturation, then only the visible salt is seen, and that invisible it is there. Same way, though you don't arthritic pain condition, when the stage came, means you already preparing it. Only the pain comes the last stage, the last resort, as a final warning. Days fasting, change their completely in vegetarian diet and simple exercises. They are completely restored and no more pain. Live not healthy again. Starting with the now see that the slip. You often hear the word disc. There is no way disc gets anywhere. It is there. What happens is there is sometimes prolapsed disc, sometimes on the nerve due to legs. Preposition disc. Vertebral side between the donor disc. It is really like substance, and surely you can compress, not walk. So when the pressure of 2 the disc also cannot be compressed. Tilt for this disc. Now in the place as you cannot be compressed. See this side, push it up, but this side is extended, so it can extension. You get it. Now other are the 3 steps of the takes place when the pressure falls on the disc. Each step 400-500 pounds of pressure falls on you, especially on this region. Each vertebra, disc takes 300 to 400 pounds of pressure. When you take jump, when you take walk, when you or dancing, tremendous pressure is put on these. But each time when the pressure is placed, this was placed, so no vertebra can come in contact. Well, sometimes abnormal take place and pressure is by jolting or jumping. Then what called a prolapsed disc. They say due to prolapsed disc, the nerve emanating from area are pressed now. Terrible pain and you will not be able to move at all because it's like pressure on the nerve end to make, and there is some, and the more on this muscle, the more pain, more pressure, because the more contraction of the muscles, more pressure. So you are vicious circle. So now, how to get out of this sleep condition when it comes to the joints? A healthy joints, a healthy posture is important to avoid this type of slip disc condition. In some emergency, it's possible that due to accident, etc., this can be burst open and the contents can ooze out. And that is a very rare case due to accidents. In that case, a major surgery may be necessary, depending upon the destruction of the vertebra and the destruction of the disc. But otherwise, for slip disc, you don't have to worry. We can easily correct through yogic postures. You demonstrate when you go how to help a person with terrible pain and also how to avoid this pain. And again, the same thing happens in some of the nerves emanating from how to remove the pressure from the sciatica nerve. And even in the curvature of the, out of the three, only two we have to worry. Your cervical region and lumbar region. Thoracic region we don't have to worry because there's very little space in the thoracic region, can see why. The ribs are attached to it, and so because the rib cage and rib attachment, very little motion takes on vertebra here. So most tension and pulse comes on the lumbar and cervical. Now there on the lumbar 1 to 4, and most of the problem generally originates in the 4th and the 5th lumbar. And we'll see how these nerves emanate. And again problem on the upper cervical region here. When there is nerve and fears, anxieties, and continuous tension, put necessarily on tightened the nerve is cut and the down. So the problem in cervical, thoracic, and the only problem sometimes you do get as before, so something at that time, some injury may take place. But normally there is nothing to worry in the thoracic region. Now let us see the postures we come into. You can see the normal posture and abnormal posture. Rounded habit of keeping the neck and the head forward, table, what doing all types of, like dentists and golfers, etc., they put their head and neck forward, and consequently that's the posture they encounter, because they don't do any counter postures, and they got abnormal lumbar curvature due to weak muscles. You'll find out now step by step how these muscles affect and which are the postures involved. Which postures looks normal and which is subnormal. Here is a gentleman, and there are two gentlemen. Now, in this lady and the gentleman, who still looks correct? Why? Normal. No. Cervical curvature, normal thoracic curvature, even strain at all. Second position, he is overstretching her spine, her chest. What makes him to like this?
He's on back.
He has got extraordinary tight tummy muscles and the chest muscles. So he is compensating by pulling it up. He has to pull it up. The tummy. Lumbar is normal. Abdominal muscles are very tight. So he is pulling. We'll come back to the more to the next one. You will see now the difference. So this is abnormal. Koranda Srananda Siddhavadasya Jarparim Kaneri Pujabadasya Nityanatho Niranjanam Kabali Bindunadasya Kavitanishwarahayam Allama Prumdadevasya Goda Choli Jarindini Bhanagi Nadevasya Ganda Gabalagastada Ityade Mahasiddha Hadaga Prabhavadaham Khanditva Kaladandam Brahmandam Vicharandite. Thus the Hadaga Pradibhya starts with the salutation to Lord Shiva, who is the first Lord who taught Hatha Yoga to the Parvati, and through his blessings the Matsyendra learnt, the first teacher, the Yogi Matsyendranath, and the Swatmarama Yogi, the author of this Hatha Yoga Pradipika, realized himself through this particular science, and the very name shows Swatmarama means a man who is delighted with his own higher self. As we are delighted with our lower self, he is a sage, a yogi who realizes this supreme, is always in delight with his higher self or the God self, which is opposite to our lower self, which is belongs to the Mayic world or world of Maya. I salute the first Lord Shiva, who taught to Parvati the Hatha Vidya, that is a step to attainment of the most excellent Raja Yoga. From the very beginning, the author emphasizes the point that Hatha Yoga is a step towards Raja Yoga. In fact, Raja Yoga is not possible without Hatha Yoga, and Hatha Yoga is not possible without Raja Yoga. They are just like the upwards and reverse of the same coin. Nearly every work on yoga and tantras is in the form of an exposition by Shiva, the great yogin, to his wife Parvati. The word Hatha is composed of the syllable Ha and Ta, meaning the sun and the moon, Prana, Apana. The union between Prana and Apana is called Hatha Yoga. In this stanza and throughout the work, it is stated that Hatha Yoga is only a means to Raja Yoga. There can be no Raja Yoga without Hatha Yoga, and vice versa. Swami Yogin, having saluted his own guru, gives out the Hatha Vidya solely for the attainment of the Raja Yoga. So from the very beginning, it emphasized the point that Hatha Yoga is not merely a physical exercise, it is a Raja Yoga, which is a scientific way of approaching to this Raja Yoga, because it gives the student a complete control over his bodily and mental mechanism, which we'll be discussing as we progress. To those who wander in the darkness of conflicting sects, unable to obtain Raja Yoga, the most merciful Swami Yogin offers the light on Hatha Yoga. That is the introduction to this great subject, the Hatha Yoga. Now, the author of this particular book, Swami Rama, itself very suggestive, because the very name shows that Swami Rama has reached the highest stage, that is the seventh stage in yoga, which is Jnana Yoga, that is complete union between the individual self with the higher self. And that is the Swami Rama Yogin, who delighted with his higher self, the God self. The name of the author, Swami Rama Yogin, is very suggestive. It means one who delights in communion with his higher self. This represents the last of the 7 stages of the Jnana Yoga. And the 7 stages now will be described. When you understand the 7 stages, it is the yardstick or the thermometer by which you check your own progress, which stage you are in the yogic path. We can check your own students or check any other saints or sages, which stage they are in their spiritual path. And once you understand the 7 stages thoroughly, we will be going to various aspects of yoga, and then we will come back again and check up which stage each yoga has been explained and what stage you are all moving on. You'll get a thorough description on the subject. The Brahma Vidya Varishta is one who sport and delight in the higher self. That is the last 7th one is called Brahma Vidya Varishta. We'll come to that later on. The 7 stages are thus described in the Yoga Vasishta, one of the most authoritative words on yoga. Yoga Vasishta is the scripture taught by Vasishta, the royal teacher, to his disciple Rama, the Prince Rama, the King Rama. Before the Lord Rama became the king of the Ayodhya, as it is a customary that even the incarnates, they have to go through the formal study. And the royal guru or the royal teacher was Vasishta. He taught Lord Rama, the young Prince Rama, the yoga. And that particular book is called Yoga Vasishta. A very Vasishta, Vasishta, Vasishta. That's the name of the teacher itself, Vasishta. The book is called Yoga Vasishta. That's his name. Now that particular book is not taught to ordinary students. Because why?
You wouldn't understand it.
Not only to the student will not understand the subject, but also misinterpret the subject. Because once you read the Yoga Vasishta without proper qualification and without spiritual maturity and purity, you will drop off everything. You will become completely a thorough dropout in every respect. Because it is the highest Advaita philosophy taught, and where there is nothing exists except Brahman alone. There is no duality. If there is no duality, then how can Vasishta can teach Rama and Rama can hear the yoga? Is it possible? There is no one else to hear, because both the teacher and the taught are one and the same. The man and the God are one and the same. This only thing is explained in that. So at the end of the Yoga Vasishtha, Vasishtha says, it took several days and days. Vasishtha was instructing Rama. End of the instruction, about to complete, Vasishtha said, I never taught you anything, you never heard anything. Because who is to hear what? And the subject is so thoroughly described in this fashion, generally no teacher ever asks a student to read the Yoga Vasishtha until they have reached a very high stage of maturity and spiritual evolution. And but anyhow, in this Yoga Vasishtha, it is described thoroughly the 7 stages. And these are very important 7 stages for you. We'll start reading. Now let us see which stage you are. Let us find it out. So the 7 stages are thus described in the Yoga Vasishtha, most authoritative words on yoga. Now the first step. This stage is called Subhecha. You must remember this word, write its name. Subhecha. S-U-B-H-E-C-H-A. Subhecha is the first stage name. The name of the particular stage called Subhecha means longing for the truth. Longing for the truth. That's the meaning of it, Subhecha. Now let us see the meaning of it. Longing for the truth of Subhecha. I read it out and see whether qualified you reach the first stage. First step. One who has rightly distinguished between the permanent and the impermanent, who has cultivated a feeling of dislike towards worldly pleasures, who having full mastery over his organs, physical and mental, feels an insatiable longing to free himself from culpins, has attained the first stage, Subhecha, or a longing for the truth. Which stage are you on now? Are you in this stage? Pardon? Okay. Let us go step by step on the same comment. One who has distinction between the permanent and the impermanent. What is permanent? What is impermanent?
The world is impermanent.
Pardon? Pardon? What is eternal life? What is eternal life? It's permanent. Huh? What is God? Huh? Permanent and impermanent. This I'm sitting. This is permanent or impermanent? Why? First of all, it wasn't here before, and again hereafter. So anything which is not constant, anything not a periods of time. What are the 3 periods of time? Past and future. Existing in all 3 periods only came at that time, then it is not a word again. Nothing to have. Your body permanent. There before. It is here now. It is got a present now. This is not impermanent. The earth was before, and only for future it there. There's a point to hit the thing. It's called the permanent. Anything you have their duty, the youthful stage. The health, the gone, arthritis, the same body. So it is not a permanent. The knowledge. Certain knowledge of life, happiness and knowledge is necessity. You can just buy a few years of this course, and changed. Here, there's a new that knowledge is permanent now. Happiness is changed. Looking into this, very run words sensors. I go to the ambling. So I have to turn to the change from one night to the night. And another life. How I go to the Paris to London, or from make cruise, or maybe get a bigger job, a bigger life, and a bigger house, and so on. So they are looking for the happiness and pleasure, joy, in this impermanent thing. From moment to moment, they are moving on. At that time, you are not ready for the first stage. That's sure. So only when you know that there is no permanency in that, it is all illusory and transitory. You have to change your life pattern, and you want a different state of mind and happiness, and that permanent thing is where? Another word in this self, self, spirit. There's only one thing is permanent, is I, which never changes. Did the I change? You are a baby, few pounds baby. He is the same. Self is the same. Now you are a grown-up person. The self same, is it not? And you become an old person. The body will change, but the self same. The body, mind, and the intellect and senses all will change, but not the I. I am the same person. I was a baby, I am a youth, I am an old man, I am a man, I am a rich man, I am a poor man, I am a Swami, I am a sinner, I am a saint. Doesn't matter what you want, the I remains all the time, and that I is the permanent thing. And so knowing that in that I lies, in that big I, which is within us, is hidden all the happiness and joy and knowledge. The kingdom of heaven is with that. That's called permanent. And Swatmara or any other sage or any yogin want to enter into the spiritual path must have the distinction between permanent and impermanent. So the world is unreal and impermanent. Today there is California, tomorrow it's under the water. So knowing that, you don't want to build a huge mansion and then try to cling to that. Oh, this is my home, I am going to enjoy all my life. Next day it is gone. Look at Mexico, a few days ago, all washed away. In Pakistan recently there was a flood. About several thousand homes have been washed away. So we cannot cling to any of this material thing happiness. By knowing this and clearly understanding it within ourselves, not merely intellectually, feel it. That's beauty. And it feels impermanent. That's called. So rightly in the impermanent, he knows that it's a real thing. Who has cultivated a feeling like towards worldly pleasure, because all pleasures eventually bring unhappiness and pain. This is the law, because you have to pay for everything. Every sensual pleasure brings the adverse effect. That is very beautiful. The king cigarette with a king size filter, maybe, and then you'll have a king size cancer. so that's not to give permanent happiness. And moreover, all pleasures, there are two effects on the pleasure. First, can you say with any pleasure permanently? No. There is no which makes you permanent. What you can put it on the highest. Such thing I am going to be absolutely happy. Give me any material things you can think of. Put your imagination on the highest. Anyone can say? Just imagine. You can put your mind to the highest. If I get such and such things and everything in my life, nice home, nice husband, so many grandchildren, and health, good health, and no old age, no sickness. You can ask him you want it. You put your imagination, you will be happy. Still, can you say that I will be happy with having anything? There is no such thing as. Why? Because they are all permanent and also finite. It belongs to the external state. So, your nature is Sivananda, existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute is your nature. That is the nature of the self. That means you are bliss itself. Then how can any other things make happy except yourself? That is why we are not happy. Now, to see the sun itself, sun illumines the whole world. Now, to see the sun, what are we doing? We like to see the sun, because when sun shines, but there is not illumine the sun. Sun itself, same way yourself is luminous. Self is knowledge. Self is infinite in its knowledge, beauty and joy. When infinite knowledge and power exist in yourself, and how can you satisfy that self with a candle of pleasure with the five senses, taste, smell, touch, and so forth? And that is why we are not satisfied until we get the infinite self and rest in the self itself and become the absolute. There is no satisfaction with anything. So the permanent satisfaction can come only when you realize the self. So that's why we cultivate a feeling of dislike towards worldly pleasures, which I mentioned last night. You in the morning think that you're in a resort, you put your nice dress and go to the breakfast table, puff few cigarettes and drink some couple of black coffee and swallow a few heparin pills and take some wake-up pills and then eat your the heavy breakfast and then get back into the society, play a little bit dance, music, little golf, and then come back evening again drinking, again smoking, again dance, bed. Satisfied. That always brings headache, brings you hangover next morning, and there is no permanent satisfaction. That's why the dislike has to be cultivated. And just like you cultivate, it's like a fruit tree or a garden. You have to cultivate this. That's what the word cultivation is. Who has cultivated a feeling of dislike towards worldly pleasures, and that's what you are here. Who are cultivating the state. Who having acquired a full mastery over his organs. Which organs? All the senses. How many senses are there? 5 senses of knowledge. We'll discuss that more as we go. So again, full mastery, physical and mental. Both organs. Physical organ. What are the physical organs? 5 senses of action, like the hands, feet, this comes under the organs of action, and then organs of knowledge, or the senses of knowledge and senses of action. So 5 senses of knowledge and 5 senses of action. Altogether 10 senses are there. So both physical and mental. Feels an insatiable longing to free himself from the cycle of existence. What is the cycle of existence? Birth and death is continuous. So it is cycle. It is not just you are born and then you are die. At the end of everything, then we do anything. There's only one way to lead. Is it not marvelous? You can just finish this 100, just be some good one. As many people, you come back again. Desires are there. Innumerable desires are there. It's like this fig tree. There's a fig here. There's a. How many seeds are there in this fig tree? In this fig? Lots and lots. And just imagine, I took that one of the tiny seed. I look, can I see any tree in it? I just cut it open. Is there any fig tree there? I use the biggest microscope. But I see any tree there? Why? Where's the tree in that seed? In which state it is? The tree is in which state is? The dormant or avyakta state. Invisible state. But seed contains what? Tree life. That's all. Infinite number of figs. Can you count how many number of figs you see?
Cognitive progress. Cognitive progress. How does it get out of birth and death?
Wait. I'm coming. I'm just talking. The infinite number of trees hidden in this finite seed. But you can't see anything. Even with the biggest microscope, you don't see any trace of any trees or any plant, any leaves, nothing. It's invisible. So the existence goes on multiplying. So also we got infinite number of desires there. And each desire is like a seed. Each desire is like a seed. And how many seeds we are having? It's like one seed has got capability of having infinite number of trees. So one desire is sufficient to bring number of lives. Now you understand the problem. So the cycle of birth and death means each desire has to be fulfilled. In order to fulfill a desire, you need a body, a physical body. Because the physical body only can satisfy. And when you satisfy a desire, you also perform action. And when you perform action, you get a reaction.